Assalamu alaikum, fam. Hope you're doing well. We're continuing. Thomas Hobbes, Leviathan, the man, the myth, the legend. Let's begin. Highly educational, very nerdy. He survived an English Civil War. Pretty smart dude. Let's learn from him. Okay. Want of science, that is, ignorance of causes, disposeth or rather constraineth a man to rely on the advice and authority of others. So here, ignorance is what constrains you and makes you have to seek authority from others. So the want of science, so the scientific method, maybe of discovery. For all men whom the truth concerns, if they rely not on their own, must rely on the opinion of some other, whom they think wiser than themselves, and see not why he should deceive them. True, you know you're lacking in some area, you seek out, someone who you feel you can trust, and who has no, evil will towards you to mislead you, right? Ignorance of the signification of words, which is want of understanding, disposeth men to take on trust, not only the truth that they know not, but also the errors, and which is more, the nonsense of them they trust. Okay, so ignorance of the signification of words. This is one reason why I value philosophy, is because you begin to conceive of the different applications of words and their meaning. And when you sign a legal document, a contract, ready to buy a car, you understand the sort of riddles that are being tossed at you more. And you're like, what are the implications of this, right? It's really quite interesting. For neither error nor nonsense can without a perfect understanding of words be detected. So, if you perfectly understand the words coming at you, you'll be able to detect the nonsense and the error within them. Very true. So whatever language you want to learn, you try to keep learning, keep expanding your vocabulary and your rhetoric. From the same it proceedeth that men give different names to one and the same thing. Yeah. Think about how many different names there are for stupid, right? From the difference of their own passions. Yeah. Like a thesaurus is very good for learning how to expand that. As they that approve a private opinion call it opinion, but that they mislike it, heresy. Yet heresy signifies no more than private opinion, but has only a greater tincture of color. Kind of interesting how he spelled heresy kind of strange, but he's calling heresy a private opinion. Look at that. From the same also proceedeth that men cannot distinguish, without study and great understanding, between one action of many men and many actions of one multitude. So, distinguishing through study and understanding between one action of many people or many actions of one multitude. Whoa. As, for example, between the one action of all the senators of Rome in killing Catiline and the many actions of a number of senators in killing Caesar. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. But yet, there was, because many actions, senators of Rome in killing Catiline. I can't remember if he was with one blow and he was gone, but Caesar, poor dude, shanked to death by people he forgave, and therefore are disposed to take for the action of the people that which is a multitude of actions done by a multitude of men, led perhaps to the persuasion of one. Wow, so it caused a civil war, though. I mean, Caesar was the last great ruler. Senators of Rome seemed to like to butcher their enemies on the Senate floor. Ignorance of the causes and the original constitution of right, equity, law, and justice, disposeth man to make custom and example the rule. Aha! Equity, law, and justice make a person to make the custom and example the rule. Custom and example the rule. So you make an example of them. Like, this is the law, obey it, or we make an example of you. This is the custom, don't follow it, we make an example of you. Sounds like almost how you get these public humiliation rituals. Of his actions in such a manner as to think that unjust which it hath been the custom to punish, and that just of the impunity and approbation, whereof they can produce an example. So here, approbation and impunity. So if someone's like, you impetus, and they punish him, they make an example of him, right? So they produce an example from that. Or, as the lawyers which only use this false measure of justice barbarously call it. Barbarously call it? You call it barbarously. A precedent, like the little children, that have no other rule of good and evil manners, but the correction they receive from their parents and masters, save the children are constant to their rule, whereas men are not so. That's a good point. So they'll learn what is the good and evil manners based through constant correction, and if you correct one child in front of the others, it sets an example in the others that will produce the result you wanted, ideally, right? Because, growing strong and stubborn, they appeal from the custom to reason, and from reason to custom. Aha! The custom, in contrasting that to reason, and then looking at reason and applying it to the custom. It serves their turn, receding from custom when their interest requires it. So, receding from the custom when their interest requires it. You follow that? So, if their interest is like, well, we're required to do this, it's not the custom, what we have to do. Well, they'll break custom and then do something else. That's what he's getting at. And setting themselves against reason. Sometimes those customs will go against reason, essentially, right? As oft as reason is against them. So you're seeing how there's this adherence to private men, and from ignorance of the causes of peace, and then how reason can be abandoned for custom or picked up at the expense of custom, which is the cause that the doctrine of right and wrong is perpetually disputed. Yeah, so what's right and wrong? Is it custom or is it reason? Both by a pen and the sword. True, right? So the customs are written by either the pen or sliced up with the sword. Whereas the doctrine of lines and figures is not so, because men care not in the subject what be truth. So here it's like, it's getting at truth can be different than what you reason, and truth can be at odds with the custom. As a thing that crosses no man's ambition, profit, or lust. So look at that. Whew. What happens when you cross a man's ambition, when you cross a man's profit, and when you cross his lust? Will he bypass truth for the sake of those things? Some maybe, yeah. For I doubt not. But if it had been a thing contrary to any man's right of dominion, or to the interest of men that have dominion, to the interest of men that have dominion, and then a man's right of dominion, that the 3 angels of a triangle should he equal 2 angels of a square. That doctrine should have been, if not disputed, yet, by burning of all books of geometry, suppressed as far as he whom it concerns is able. Now that's a weird one. Whoa. That's weird. Angels of the triangle, 2 angels for the square. Very strange. Books of geometry. So you got some math going in here. The geometry weirdos. That's interesting. What do you think, fam? Rome killing Catiline, Rome killing Caesar, making an example, make custom an example, and then looking at manners, impunity, approbation, the pen or the sword, so want of science, making people seek out authorities if they don't have it, who they won't be deceived by, knowing the signification of words. Subhanallah. Nerdy as always. Love it. Love it.